Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm Gary, and this is your exclusive movie review of Collateral. So, in watching this movie, it's just my opinion, but Tom Cruise is just one of those actors that he's a good actor, but he doesn't really have a lot of range. I would say that he had more range in the 80s and 90s than he did from the 2000s to about now. Um, I guess it's just a case of being comfortable in the roles that he takes. But he doesn't really have the same, he doesn't really play any different characters than the previous movie. All his Mission Impossibles to that movie Night and Day to hell, I would even say The Last Samurai or even Collateral in a way. He always plays the exact same actor. Even those Jack Reacher movies, he might as well just been playing Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. In saying that, this is not that bad of a movie. The movie itself is it's pretty good. Collateral, like The Bone Collector, you could say came out of the same inspiration as the movie before it. With Seven came The Bone Collector, with Training Day came several others, and then Collateral. Both inspirations are much different than their predecessors and come from very experienced and creative filmmakers. Collateral being directed by Michael Mann, the man behind Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. But it definitely feels like it fits in the world of his film Miami Vice. It's got a pretty similar palette of tones, and it's got a grainy texture to it. It's got a badass character that thinks he's better than he actually is, but to be honest with you, that's every Tom Cruise character in every one of his movies. And like Training Day, the film is about a seasoned looking veteran of his occupation as a hitman who crosses paths with a timid and struggling taxi cab driver. But this is one of those films where his actual, even though he plays himself, his performance is actually pretty good. You actually, he actually, takes a step back and actually dwells into another character. And that's probably because this is one of his first bad guy roles. And, that's one of the things that really turned me off in watching his films. I never really cared to go see his films, not a lot of his films in the movie theater. Always knew what to expect. It wasn't a risk going to the movie theater and wondering if this movie is going to be good. I knew it was going to be good because his movies are good. Tom Cruise is not a bad actor. Like I said, he's got no real range. The fact that he next to never changes the perspective of his characters, it makes him kind of boring and predictable. It was actually almost good for him to get a bit off the rails years ago. It forced him to take roles he wouldn't normalize himself in, like Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder. And to be honest with you, I can't picture or think of any other roles at this very moment that he was in that really changed after that. Les Grossman was probably I would say, his most controversial role. But I can admit, Collateral is one of his better films where he does leave his ordinary self, or at least half of his ordinary self, at the door. With Vincent, you can really stick around as the character isn't doing a lot in the cab and really see his facial expressions, as well as you can really sense there's something going on in that mind of his. He's got conflict even if he doesn't express it openly. In Cruise's more action-centric films like Mission Impossible or even the Jack Reacher films, they're too big and too busy to chill for a moment and really be self-aware of its characters. I mean, you could say that they're self-aware, but really deep dive into the psyche of a character instead of just giving you a generic idea or a generic insight we've heard over and over and over again in every film. One other characteristic I liked in Vincent, though, is his badassery. Just the way he dresses, the style of his hair, the way he walks so confidently, shoots his gun with style. It's kind of like they were taking that style a little bit from Equilibrium, especially in the nightclub scene. He's a man that normally thinks a few steps ahead, but with Max, he lets his guard down a little bit. He's also a character that won't hesitate to kill anyone in his path. But when Max comes around, and while he isn't any challenge for Vincent in any capacity, Vincent kind of just wants to befriend him. Yes, he's using him and manipulating Max to drive him around and kill people. But if Max got in the way like he does, he can just shoot him in the back of the head in the cab and move on to the next available cab. I think maybe Vincent subconsciously sees Max as a moral challenge. I think overall, this movie, it's pretty good. It's very predictable. It's kind of goes along the same lines of like what I was saying earlier is Training Day. It's got the same kind of ending. The whole cast, though, like the side characters, the extras, they all did a fantastic job. I love Michael Mann's work where you can actually take side characters from all around the movie or all inside the movie and really just kind of like, okay, what is this guy's mind like? Like, what is this guy thinking? Like you can actually kind of picture that person in the same movie but different movie centered on that person. Like Michael Mann's movies have that, I don't know what you would call that, but he's got that style where you could just jump from character to character and really imagine what those people are like in this exact movie. That's all I got. Thanks for watching, and please share. If you agree or disagree, put a comment down below me.